Good morning, world. Good morning, my friends. Good morning, everybody. This is Cody with the Cody Rohn Show, going back to on a Tuesday morning on this February the 8th, the year 2022. I'm back again this week with the talk. Last week we had all that snow, and I couldn't make a YouTube video all driving with all that snow. That would be unsafe. That would not be smart. That would not be badass. That would be stupid. So today I'm using my hands-free phone holder to make this video, and the roads are all clear. So I'm just driving straight and talking to you guys. And something else too, my new goal for these talks is to be more concise and to not ramble on so much. And as you can see, I'm already rambling on here, my intro. So I'll get to the point. This talk today is on fatherhood and what I've learned about the effects of your dad can have on you. If your dad was a good dad or a bad dad or a decent dad or pretty good dad but maybe kind of a jerk sometimes, or a dad that's present but not really present in your life. And what I've learned about this from a few experts, psychologists and priests, especially the one priest, I really like him. His name is Father John Ricardo. He used to always be on the radio. He's doing something else now, but he talked about this once about parents, mother and baby, father and baby, that as parents, you basically give your kids this image of God, of who God is, with you being their parents. The kind of parents you are, the kind of marriage you have, the way you treat your kids, the way you make them feel. There's a pretty strong imprint of this is the kind of God is. This is the image of God. And, no pressure, right? I don't have to, God's standards are pretty high, how to be like God and the kind of parents God is. But he was talking about how this can really help kids, if you're really good parents and you kind of share in the aspects of God, then you can help your kids see God. Like, you can help them see God as a God that is good, that can be trusted, that will take care of me, that will be responsible for my life, that will take care of my needs. But if you're the kind of parents, especially the kind of father that is kind of unbalanced, a little bit too harsh, kind of a jerk, not really giving any kind of affirmation to your kids, no encouragement, just all negatives. Or if you're a pushover dad and you don't really say anything negative at all because you don't want to hurt their feelings, and you don't really push your kids at all because they're fine just the way they are and you don't want to hurt their feelings. And I think that's a bit more rare, but it is the other extreme of what can happen, the other side of the extreme. Because there's a perfect balance that God has with us, the way he looks at us. And I want to ask you a couple of questions and kind of ask you if this is the way you view God. So, your dad, your father, in regards to your father, did your father help you feel loved? Did your father help you feel safe? Did your father give you a security that your needs will be all taken care of and that he will take care of you, basically? Did your father encourage you or affirm you? Did your father believe in you and help you have courage to do difficult things? These are all the things that dads are supposed to be doing, because this is what God gives to us. God is the life giver. God is our Father. And kind of understanding this father and son bond, it's really, really important in the spiritual life with you and God. He is Father. Like, God is a dad. He's a really good dad. And he does share in his feminine aspect too of God, because he made male and female beings. But we call him he, Father. He is our dad. And it's up to dads to really kind of mirror this image to our kids. Now, not to say that moms are not important. On the contrary, moms are really, really important. And what I've heard, actually, is science has now proven that babies think that they are one with their mother until they are 2 years old. I heard this a couple of years ago, and it kind of blew my mind. Like, babies think that mother and baby, that themselves and their mom, that they are one person. They're so intimate, so close, that they're just one. Dad is the first other being, this other person that's kind of here in the picture, that's always in our home with mom, and he's there. He's always kind of hovering around. And what is dad doing? Is dad good? Is he feeding us? Is he taking care of us? Is he keeping order and peace in our home? Is dad good? Can dad be trusted? Does dad love me? Does dad love mama? I mean, is he doing all these good things that dad should be doing? And the way these kids view their dad, from infancy all the way through young adulthood and toddlerhood, that's kind of the image that they have of dad. And I've seen this too throughout life, and kind of in a sad way too. I've had some friends I used to know who were atheists. And I kind of sensed that they kind of wanted to believe in God. They wanted to see God and believe in Him, but they just couldn't do it. There was something blocking it. And this talk is kind of called the father problem, because it's kind of the problem of what can happen. It's a problem of dads, because dads have a pretty heavy weight. They have work that they're supposed to be doing. Their job is to mirror God the Father. And if they're not doing this, they can really, really distort the true image of God, of who God actually is, like the reality of who God actually is. If your dad is not a good dad, he can mess up and skew the image and distort it. So with my friends who were atheists, I mean, it's kind of sad, but all of them kind of had not the best dads. I mean, okay dads, but they wanted more from their dads. Their dads weren't really encouraging or affirming. Their dads weren't really present in their lives. So it looks like, it's like, yeah, I mean, if you were to tell them, God loves you, God is good, they're like, yeah, my dad is good, right? My dad loves me a whole lot, right? And no, they're being sarcastic. I know their dads were not really that loving to them. So to see God as a loving, good God, it's like, yeah, they almost kind of laugh at it. Like, yeah, that's funny you say that. That's kind of cute. You say that, this God that is good and loves me and, and takes delight in me being his child. Like, yeah, that's, have fun with that idea. And it's sad, and because it's supposed to be the opposite. I mean, it is a gift to us that we are to be like God to our children. What we're supposed to be doing is, with me, I'm a boy, I'm a son, I'm a dad. It is my job to give my kids affirmation, just being their dad. I mean, how many of you can say that, like, my dad loves me? Like, truly, like, my dad really just loves me. Like, he's crazy about me. Just him being my dad. He just loves being my dad. He's always doing stuff with me. He's always taking me out to the barn to work with me, to teach me how to do things. He's, and when I mess up, he's not too hard on me. Like, and of course, like, the father's job is to judge. It's more like to cultivate, kind of like pruning, shaping, because your father is supposed to see greatness in you, see the beauty in you that's there, and that is made to bloom into a really big flower or a tree or something really good and beautiful like that. And sometimes dad can be a little bit disordered. Dads can get a little bit carried away with this and be a little bit too harsh and judging their kids and kind of go off the handle when they mess up or they break something. Or dads want their kids to be so good, it's too based on their performance, that you're only good if you're doing good things. You're only good if you're being productive. You're only good if you're not being lazy. So kids can have this idea when they grow up that I'm only loved if I'm doing something good. I'm only perfect if I'm actually being perfect. I'm only good if I'm being perfect. So if they're not being perfect, then I'm not loved. So therefore, if I'm not a perfect, holy person, God does not love me. That is the problem. Or even seeing God as a good God that wants to actually help me. A lot of us kind of have this image of God, that God's kind of out there, he's a higher power. He set the universe in motion, but that's all he does. There's nothing intimate about God. There's nothing personal about God. He's just kind of out there hovering around. Maybe if your dad was kind of like that, that's the way you view God. And so I'm at 9 minutes now. So yes, I'll finish up here now, not ramble on. So as you can see, there's a bit of pressure on us as dads and as parents to be God to our children. And there's some pressure there. Do not fear. What I've come to the conclusion is all we have to do is do our best, and we have to pray a lot. We have to discern how to be a good parent, how to be a good spouse to our spouse, and let God do the rest. As you know, we're not perfect. I've been blessed with good parents who care about me, who love me, who have taught me many good things. I have a good father. He isn't perfect, but he's definitely a good father. And what I've come to the conclusion is that Let God take care of the rest. Let God teach you how to be a good parent. And if you're lacking anything, let the other men or women in your kid's life to help teach them other things. Maybe you have this kind of personality, so you're kind of strong in these characteristics. Let the other parents in your kid's life to help teach them these things too, and also their siblings and all the other boys and girls and parents in their life to help cultivate this image of God and what it means to be a good man and woman in this world. So that's all for today. Hope this talk all made sense to you. I'm going on 10 minutes now. So yes, hope you all enjoy your Tuesday. Bye.